So you may have just been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, or you may have had fibromyalgia for years and years, possibly even decades. Today I'm going to share with you the 10 common causes of fibromyalgia. And I know that there's a lot of misinformation out there, like there's one specific cause for fibromyalgia. I will tell you, after 15 years of clinical practice, that is simply not true. So let me start out by saying, if you have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I know that it can be very confusing. I know that your symptoms can be overwhelming, and oftentimes the people closest to you can't understand why you're so sick. Many of my fibromyalgia patients are concerned that their families think that they're crazy, lazy, or hypochondriacs. I've been at this for over 15 years, and I know without a doubt that that is not the case. I know that your symptoms are very real and often debilitating. Symptoms like body-wide pain, brain fog, fatigue, sleep disturbances, as well as gastrointestinal trouble for many. I should say for most. Before I get started, I want you to know that I do have a deep understanding and real compassion for those suffering with fibromyalgia. So please allow me to lay some very important groundwork, and I'm going to try to keep this very short. So fibromyalgia is a syndrome. A syndrome is simply a set of symptoms that can be clumped together. Fever and a sore throat is a common symptom. It can be caused by things like bacterial pharyngitis, the flu, or esophageal cancer. So those are three very, very different diseases that can have the same symptoms. Now, fibromyalgia is a set of symptoms that can be caused by a variety of different underlying conditions. This is very, very important to understand. So every fibromyalgia sufferer can have a different set of underlying causes and triggers that actually cause the symptoms of fibromyalgia. Now, in order to find out what is causing your fibromyalgia, it really takes a lot of detective work. There is not one thing that causes fibromyalgia. There are always multiple layers of dysfunction. I'm trying to drive that point home. What I'm going to do today is tell you what I see in clinical practice as the underlying causes of the symptoms of fibromyalgia. You won't have everything that I mention here today, but you will have more than one. I can promise you that. You may have 3, 4, or 5 of these things going on at the same time. So with a little bit of help, you can determine what those underlying triggers are and actually recover from fibromyalgia, although many people live with these ever-increasing symptoms their whole life. So number 1, gluten intolerance. Now, before you shake your head, this is really common. Gluten is linked to more than 50 diseases of a digestive and neurological nature. Intolerances can go unnoticed for years and years, while individuals try to determine why they're experiencing an onslaught of digestive issues. In addition to improved sleep, pain management, and mood, for some people, reducing or cutting out gluten may lessen the symptoms of fibromyalgia. However, not all people with fibromyalgia who adopt a gluten-free diet experience the same amount of relief. One study found that people with both fibromyalgia and digestive symptoms consistent with gluten sensitivity felt much better on a gluten-free diet. Number 2, candida overgrowth. Now, the body is full of microscopic bacteria and fungus. Candida is a yeast that can grow in the intestines in small amounts, but it can overgrow in the intestinal tract, especially when your immune system is weakened. This can lead to digestive issues like diarrhea, bloating, and cramping. Some practitioners believe that there's a link between candida overgrowth and fibromyalgia, and I will say I see this often. I see this very, very frequently. Then number 3, thyroid issues. Doctors will usually recommend that people experiencing symptoms that could indicate fibromyalgia have all 6 blood markers checked to measure thyroid activity. Correcting these thyroid hormone levels can offer improvements to fibromyalgia symptoms, reducing brain fog, fatigue, sleep disturbances, and depression. Fibromyalgia and thyroid conditions share similar symptoms and may occur in the same individual. Therefore, treating the thyroid condition may lead to improvements in fibromyalgia symptoms. Number 4 are vitamin deficiencies. People with fibromyalgia are often found to have low levels of vitamin D, vitamin B12, and magnesium. A doctor can recommend the best ways to increase these nutrients in the body, whether through dietary changes or supplements. Simply improving magnesium can have a positive impact on the symptoms of fibromyalgia. Preliminary studies also show that increasing vitamin D may alleviate some of the symptoms of fibromyalgia in people with deficiency in the vitamin. Number 5 is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, also known as SIBO. A plethora of factors can upset bacteria balance in the body, including a sugar-rich diet or antibiotics. This can have many adverse effects, including interrupting the ability to absorb and digest nutrients, such as vitamin B12. Poor gut health can have negative effects on the body as a whole. In some cases, bacteria from the colon can overgrow and enter the small intestines, a condition known as SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Now, I have had patients that told me after they eat, they feel like they're pregnant. They literally blow up like a balloon. Visibly, you can see people with big bellies that normally have flatter stomachs. If this is happening to you, you have to consider small intestinal bacterial overgrowth as part of the problem. Number 6 is mycotoxins. Mold causes a lot of different health problems, including cancer and immune deficiency, and can even be life-threatening. The most common source of exposure is contamination of food, particularly grains, nuts, and coffee beans, kept in hot, humid conditions. The fungus creates byproducts called mycotoxins, which can lead to symptoms similar to fibromyalgia. Number 7 is mercury toxicity. This is more common than you might think. Although amalgam dental fillings containing mercury are supposedly no longer used in the United States, they are still common filling components in many parts of the world. It's possible that the mercury from the amalgam fillings can give an individual mercury poison, which can cause symptoms similar to fibromyalgia. Replacing the fillings with modern composite resin can reduce mercury levels in the body and increase symptoms. Doctors can determine mercury levels through medical testing, and that's something we do here. Number 8 is adrenal fatigue. People who are constantly and excessively tired may be experiencing adrenal fatigue. Remember, your adrenals are your stress glands. So they sit on your kidneys, they secrete cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. And when you're under stress, be it emotional stress because of your life circumstances or your internal stress because of sickness and disease, they can be stressed. Fibromyalgia is one possible trigger, but adrenal fatigue caused by other conditions can also lead to fibromyalgia symptoms. Furthermore, other causes such as chronic stress and food intolerance can stress the adrenal system as well. And then number 9 is Mercers mutation. That's MTHFR. Genetic mutations are linked to a wide range of health concerns, including mental health disorders, colon cancer, leukemia, and more. The mutation makes the body less capable of ridding itself of toxins such as lead and mercury. Increasing methyl-6, methyl B12, and folic acid may help alleviate the effects of Mercers. Some studies show a possible link between the defect in Mercers gene and fibromyalgia, and I do see those in quite a few cases. Number 10 is glutathione deficiencies. Glutathione is an antioxidant that helps the body in its natural detoxification process by reducing oxidative stress. It is sometimes referred to as the master antioxidant. Some studies show that people with fibromyalgia have lower levels of glutathione relative to healthy people. However, it's not clear whether raising glutathione levels with supplements improves fibromyalgia symptoms, although I have seen it work in clinical cases in my clinic. So remember that fibromyalgia has multiple levels of involvement. There are always layers of dysfunction. No one thing causes all the symptoms of fibromyalgia. Now, I did want to highlight those 10 issues. They were not in a specific order, but there are some other things that I really do see frequently and that I'm always on the lookout for. One of those is food sensitivities. They're very common in fibromyalgia sufferers, as in any other chronic condition. Then there are hidden viral infections that can be part of the underlying cause of fibromyalgia. Then there's pathogenic bacteria and what we call bacterial dysbiosis. This is a disproportional amount of bad bacteria to good bacteria. Then there are gastrointestinal conditions like IBS, Crohn's, and celiac that often accompany fibromyalgia and other chronic conditions. I want you to think about the gut like the hub of a wheel. You got this little hub with spokes that go to every other area of the body. The immune system, the thyroid, the adrenals, your emotions, meaning depression. There is no area that is not touched by the gastrointestinal system. Then there are autoimmune diseases, which often are complicating factors in fibromyalgia, and then there are environmental toxins. Environmental toxins can overwhelm your body, especially if you don't have enough glutathione or if you have Mercers defect, which means you struggle to detoxify. So this is really where functional medicine shines. We use an in-depth health history as well as advanced laboratory testing, which help us determine which of these many issues are part of the cause and underlying factors in your fibromyalgia symptoms. In many ways, it's like peeling back the layers of an onion because, as I mentioned multiple times, there are always many layers of dysfunction. Now, once we run our test, we are now able to use our test findings to create a specific individualized treatment protocol for each patient. Now, because fibromyalgia is a syndrome, as I explained in the beginning, it can have multiple underlying causes which are different for each patient. That's why you'll rarely get better using the traditional medical approach. Remember, traditional medicine treats the symptom, not the disease. In functional medicine, we treat the patient, not the symptom. So if you'd like help with your recovery from fibromyalgia, we do offer a free consultation and a review of your medical history. We can recommend lab testing that we feel would be the most useful for your specific circumstance. Now, if this information has been helpful, please like the video, subscribe, click the little bell so when new videos come out, you'll be the first to know. I'll leave a link in the description below that has our contact information if you would like to reach out for more help. But guys, thank you so much, and I know that you can get better.
If you are struggling with a chronic condition and would like more information, feel free to visit www.birminghamfunctionalmedicine.com. You are also welcome to set up a phone or Zoom consultation with Dr. Dailey at www.talktodrd.com.